Diane, we are absolutely honoured to have you as one of the ambassadors, the brand ambassadors of the Governance Institute of Australia. I was wondering if I might leave it to you to introduce yourself to our audience.
Thank you so much, Megan, and I am delighted to be a brand ambassador for the Governance Institute of Australia. So I am a Perth-based independent non-executive director. I've been here on the lands of the Whadjuk people of the Noongar Nation, and let me pay my respects to their elders past, present and emerging. So I've been here for just over a decade now. Before that, I spent almost 25 years out of Perth, over east, as we like to say, here in Western Australia. But I lived and worked in Asia, in Brisbane, Sydney, Melbourne, and then in the United States. So my portfolio is quite diverse, and I have designed it that way. I'm a board member of a couple of large listed Australian companies, but I also chair a government body, sit on the board of a state government agency, have pretty substantive pro bono activity around education and economics, and am a board member of a mutual organisation. So quite a lot of diversity there. I played a lot of sport in my younger days, and so I have done things in sport as well with Basketball Australia, because basketball was my sport. And now I'm a little involved tangentially with the anti-doping movement.
Wonderful. Diane, it's fantastic to have you leading one of the panels for our conference at the end of the year. We're just so absolutely delighted. It's our first virtual national conference, albeit that we ran a virtual governance and risk management forum earlier this year. And many people who are attending the conference are going to be aspiring directors and even many experienced directors. In your opinion, what is the value for them to attend?
Well, the session that I'm doing at the conference is actually, for me, getting the band back together in a virtual format, because a couple of years ago, I had a little frolic on Sky Channel running a show called The Boardroom. I was the host. It was an hour-long program, and I would get some non-executive directors and a sitting CEO to come, and we're on a panel and we would talk about the issues of the day and explore a governance issue. And that was virtual because there was no live audience. We just curated and talked about what we thought was interesting. And the feedback that I got was amazing, because I was told, it's really like a window into a boardroom. Well, we called it the boardroom. We tried to behave like a boardroom. And so this is exactly what we're going to do with this panel session, is we will reprise the boardroom, and we will try to take questions from the audience to understand what their questions about the governance issues of today are, and we'll give our perspective on that. And so we have a sitting CEO, the president of VCA, Tim Reid, and a couple of non-executive directors, and myself and Ming Long, and Matt Beckier from Star is going to be our CEO. So I think that's the type of experience that you can have, because having attended so many of the conferences over the years, I think it is that very granular examination of governance issues and what does it actually mean when the rubber hits the road, and giving people that window into how other directors are thinking. And so I think this is what you get from the conference, and I see no reason why the virtual format is going to be any different. And certainly the Q&A panel it's going to be a lot of fun.
It is absolutely going to be a cracker. I can't wait for it personally. Now, this year's theme is around leadership, trust and foresight. And of course, it's been a year where foresight's been really difficult. What's been your biggest learning over the last 6 months as Australian organisations have tackled so many historical global socioeconomic issues, including, of course, the pandemic?
The biggest learning for me has been reinforcement of something that I learned during my consulting career, which is your ability to do what you want to do today is determined by what you did for the last 2 years. And that's sort of the definition of foresight to me. And so now actually that time frame has accelerated. So you never have 2 years to do anything. So it's how can organisations continue to lead in this much accelerated cycle time world and still maintain the trust of customers and staff through that process. Because without those two groups with you, you really have nothing. So that's the learning for me, is that this need for looking around that corner and taking some judgment-based bets on where you do your investments is going to be the thing that's going to determine long-term success or otherwise.